Joining me now are three of the best radio talk show hosts in the country. In Kansas City, we have Chris Stigall of KCMO. In our D.C. bureau, Tom Marr of WCBM in Baltimore. And here in New York, of course, is WWRL's Errol Lewis. And Errol is also a CNN contributor and columnist for the New York Daily News. Gentlemen, thanks for being with me.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You know, let's start with the first cabinet pick, Eric Holder. First African-American to hold the position. He was deputy attorney under Bill Clinton. Thoughts on this, Errol?
I think it's a great choice. The civil rights community likes him. He's a former judge. Integrity is unquestioned. He ran, 125,000 employees under Janet Reno, so his management skills are not in question. So it's a pick that I think is going to keep a lot of people happy.
And the Clinton pardons, what do you think, Tom?
Well, first of all, let me say Eric Holder is an absolutely terrible pick. He's another Clinton retread, and he's got an awful lot to answer, not on just the pardon of Mark Rich, but he also has to talk about his role in the pardon of the FALN terrorists. There were 16 of them. He played a key role in getting them pardoned. It seems like Barack Obama can't seem to avoid people that have connection with terrorists. He also played a role in the connection with the getting out of jail and giving the pardon to two members of the Weather Underground.
Well, we are clear that it's the president who does the pardons, right?
Yes,
not the number two man in the Justice Department?
The number two man facilitated it. That's Eric Holder. Linda Sue Evans and
Chris.
Susan Rosenberg are just evil people, and they got a pardon from Holder and from Clinton.
Let's let Chris in on this. What are your thoughts, Chris?
Kitty, I got to tell you, for Mr. Hope and Change, so far I'm hearing nothing but Clinton folks being appointed all around him, and even with a Hillary appointment looming in the wings. I don't get it. This is a guy who wanted to put best foot forward and a new face on Washington, and he's bringing everybody back from the Clinton administration to make his office work.
There was a phrase very popular 4 years ago called elections have consequences. If the point of the election was to go and appoint a bunch of Bush maybe appointees? I mean, what's he supposed to do?
I thought he was outside of Washington. I thought he was Mr. Outside the Beltway.
Well,
Hope and
let's talk
change.
about Hillary. While we're at it, let's talk about the Hillary Clinton discussion about Secretary of State. I mean, now we have a Politico report that Senator Clinton might actually turn the position down and focus on a domestic agenda. What do you think about all this, Errol?
Well, I can't quite imagine that. I think the Secretary of State choice is attractive to Hillary Clinton. It's logical. She seems to want it. Some of the conflicts that are being brought up, look, it seems clear that the Republicans are going to try and fight a last-ditch effort and try and sort of hamper and hinder anything that the new administration does, even before it forms. That, of course, is their choice. But I don't think any conflicts are going to be found that wouldn't have made a difference when Hillary Clinton, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, was still married to the same Bill Clinton. Whatever conflicts were out there, presumably were known. If they mattered then they should matter now. But if they didn't matter then, they shouldn't matter now.
Part of the vetting process has to do with some of the Global Charitable Foundation under Bill Clinton and whether there are any conflicts. Tom, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, Errol just doesn't get it. Hillary Clinton, as being named Secretary of State, is going to have to undergo questioning, just like Eric Holder will. And there is a whole minefield out there for the Clinton family and rather dubious monies that Bill Clinton has made from foreign sources.
Well, that's not a question, that's a statement.
Time out. Hold on. That is a statement. She's got a lot to answer for if she's ever put under Senate hearings, just like Mr. Holder is going to have to answer for a lot. You think the Republicans, Errol, should play rollover?
Well, no, they don't have to play rollover. On the other hand, if these were such urgent issues, presumably they would have been made up. They would have come up while she was a member of the Armed Services Committee, while she was a candidate for President of the United States.
Let's let Chris in on this a bit.
I got to tell you, we're in day number 2 of the New York Times looking into Bill Clinton's history and the charitable foundation giving. I mean, this is not right-wing spin, my man. The fact of the matter is, even Maureen Dowd questioned the integrity of the Clintons as they were headed out pardoning Mark Rich with Eric Holder's help. I mean, the New York Times, when they're castigating these people, this ain't right-wing spin. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, not at all. In fact, it's sounding like this is just a total Clinton operation here, and that Barack Obama. When is he going to name someone not connected with the Clinton administration?
Presumably, when Alberto Gonzalez was disgracing the Justice Department, Surely you gentlemen were complaining about that. That he had to step down in disgrace.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're exactly right.
Let me tell you something.
As long as we have one standard, I think we'll be fine.
Let's move on.
No,
to
let me tell you something.
Okay,
Alberto Gonzalez was incompetent. He was incompetent and needed to go. But at no point did he engage in pardoning, helping to pardon one of the most nefarious individuals to ever walk scot-free, and then go on to get involved in oil for food.
All they did was fire a bunch of U.S. attorneys for not running fake prosecutions related to voting rights.
My friend, he did nothing illegal. There's nothing illegal about it. Nothing illegal about it.
But the point
Tom,
is
last
that
thought
we're
before
now,
we go to break. Go ahead.
Yeah, the point is that we're now talking about Eric Holder and what he did, and the Republicans can have a field day with this guy, and I think Hillary's going to step out because of embarrassments from the Clinton income from Middle Eastern sources.
All right, we're going to take a break on that thought. We will be right back with our panel in just a moment. We're back with Chris Stigall, Tom Maher, and Errol Lewis. Gentlemen, I'd like to get your thoughts on an interesting story. Certain members of the Catholic Church, Cardinal James Francis Stafford, has called Obama's rhetoric apocalyptic. And also there is a Catholic priest in South Carolina that says parishioners who voted for Barack Obama should do penance before they can receive Holy Communion, presumably all this over his pro-choice stance. Errol, thoughts on this?
Well, I think at least one of them, I believe it was the cardinal, is actually what they call a seamless garment pro-life person who's against war, against torture, against the death penalty. I have respect for that position. I think it's unwise, though, to try and step into politics in that way, and there's no way to say that it's not political. I mean, to pick this, of all things, that a vote is somehow connected to your religious faith, I think it stirs up a can of worms that the church probably doesn't really want to, if you think about it.
Chris, thoughts?
I think that if your faith is something that's important to you, Kitty, how a Catholic, and I am not, my wife is, but how Catholics can separate themselves from the position on abortion. One of the signature issues of the Catholic Church is life, and the life issue. Bishop Nallman on the Kansas side, Bishop Finn here on the Missouri side, here in Kansas City, both have not only refused communion. Bishop Finn recently said, consider your eternal salvation on my show before voting for Barack Obama a few days before the election. So Catholic leaders are stepping up and making it known what the Catholic Church stands for. Now, whether that's your politics or not, that's an entirely different matter.
Tom, go ahead. Weigh in here.
I find it extremely interesting that Errol thinks that the cardinal shouldn't get involved in politics, but apparently he doesn't mind Reverend Jesse Jackson being involved in it, and Reverend Al Sharpton.
Well, we didn't bring up any of that. Please. Wait, give me a break on that. We haven't said a word about either of these men. Where's that coming from?
Well, you're saying how churchmen should not get involved in politics.
Well, look, most of the Catholic vote went to Barack Obama. The cardinal might want to think about that.
I just thought it would be I don't care. The cardinal has a position to take, and he's taken it. And you said that church people should not be getting involved in politics, but apparently you have some exemptions for certain ministers, and I just named a couple.
Well, you should tell me which of those ministers, Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson, who you seem to have an obsession with, which of them said that somebody's faith, somebody's salvation would be at stake if they cast a vote in a particular direction? When did that ever happen? I've been following these guys for 20 years now. Never heard it.
Well, no. I was addressing your point that churchmen should not be involved in these moral issues politically, and they absolutely should.
All right, let's move on to another issue. I know this one is very engrossing, but we do have to talk about the big three automakers in Washington, the great debate, bailout or not. Errol, thoughts on this?
The bailout is going to be, I think, a non-starter. It seems like there's a bipartisan consensus that they don't want to get snookered the way they did on the financial bailout. On the other hand, this very hard question, which this show is often addressed about what to do about American manufacturing. We need more than one hearing and a couple of days to figure it out. Hopefully they will figure it out, but unfortunately GM may not live to see that.
Yeah, critical times. Tom, what quick thoughts on this?
General Motors should file for bankruptcy, come back stronger. They will leave to say it, but if you just give them money, they're going to waste it, and the American taxpayer shouldn't be on the hook for their extremely poor management at General Motors and the horrifying UAW concessions they've made.
Chris, would you agree with that?
We've got two plants here in Kansas City, GM and Ford, making quality products Americans do want. But the gentlemen are right, rushing to bail out. This is the secretary that cried wolf with Paulson. I don't trust this guy any further than I can throw him. Everything he said about hurry, 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 we got to do it, it's been a lie, an out-and-out lie. I don't trust it, don't do it.
All right, gentlemen, we covered a lot of topics with great heat and intensity, and thank you very much for being with me. Errol Lewis, Tom Maher, Chris Stigall, thank you.